Meanwhile, the Wall Street Journal reporting President Trump could be preparing for an extended blockade of Iranian ports. And Bryan Llenas has the latest from Tel Aviv. Good morning.
Dana, good morning. Well, the U.S. blockade on Iranian ports is now in its 16th day. And this morning, the Wall Street Journal reports that President Trump has instructed his aides to prepare to extend this blockade with the goal of collapsing Iran's economy enough to force Iran to agree to a deal to end its nuclear program. Now, the president reportedly assesses that the blockade is less risky than walking away entirely or resuming military strikes. At least for now. This morning, President Trump posted a warning, quote, Iran can't get their act together. They don't know how to sign a non-nuclear deal. They better get smart soon. The post includes an image that reads, no more Mr. Nice Guy, with the president holding a gun surrounded by explosions. Now, Iran International reports that internally, Iran's leaders acknowledge its economy cannot withstand another 3 to 5 more weeks of this blockade. So far, 2 million jobs have been lost. Half of Iran's jobs are at risk. The value of Iran's real currency has dropped 98% to a record low today. Inflation is up 67%, with the price of chicken up 75%, and beef and lamb is up 68%. In the meantime, the U.S. has surged more military assets to the region. Fox's General Jack Keane says military strikes, in his opinion, should resume because this blockade ultimately won't work.
Eventually, it could cause an economic collapse. But they don't care about the suffering of their people, in my judgment. What we need to do is finish the objectives in terms of the military objectives that have been assigned to the Israeli forces and to the American forces, and let's finish what we started.
Here in Tel Aviv, the Israeli defense minister says that Israel is prepared to renew this war and is simply just waiting for the green light from the U.S. Dana?
A great report, and more to come as we go over to Bill at the board.
So, Dana, getting the word from the White House just late last night that the president has said we're going to stick with the blockade, and try and starve economically Iran as we speak today. This is Carg Island. Brian talking about that here in the Persian Gulf. This is the area where Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says that the oil capacity is reaching its maximum level. What does that mean? That means once you're taking oil out of the ground, you only have so many places to put it. There's a report that they pulled 2 30-year-old giant tankers out of service to put them back into service to store some of the oil there in Iran, losing now $170 million a day for the Iranian economy. Here's what I want to show you right here. This is around the time the war started. This is April 21st, just about last week. You see the orange line here? Let me try and watch this here in the last week as it goes down and declines. That's the oil output for Iran, and that direction is not the way you want to be if you're running the regime and you want to feed your people and make sure your economy stays strong. This is a port here on the southern coast of Iran, okay? Normally you'd have about 5 vessels a day moored in that sea off the coast of Iran. Today they're well over 20, which shows you that this line right here with the U.S. blockade is working. Nobody in, nobody out. If you're reporting to any of these Iranian ports that run through the Gulf of Oman, through the Strait of Hormuz, and up here through the Persian Gulf, it is a no-go zone, and right now that blockade has worked. With regard to OPEC, in the Middle East, all these countries are members of OPEC, and yesterday, the United Arab Emirates, right, located right here, they say they've been hit more than 2,500 times on behalf of Iranian drones and missiles. And the UAE says of this Friday, May 1st, the end of the week, they're pulling out of OPEC. What does that mean for the market? Something really we have to watch, where the average gallon of gasoline in America is now well over $4 a gallon for the first time. Rebeccah Heinrichs, Hudson Institute Senior Fellow, here with Dana and me to talk more about it. Rebeccah, good day to you. Where are we now when the president has made the decision to keep the blockade there and try and starve this regime? In effect, you're starving the people of Iran too, a nation of 92 million.
So the first thing I think is important to keep in mind is we don't want to harm the Iranian people. Obviously, that's a secondary effect of squeezing the regime economically. And remember, before we even began Epic Fury, the regime was already suffering economically. But the goal here is to cut off their ability to fund the IRGC. I mean, already we've gotten reports that says that the regime can't fund their mercenaries. They cannot fund militia members. And at the same time, the United States bill is offering up to $10 million rewards for essentially giving the United States information about the heads of Iranian-backed militia leaders. That's going to look increasingly attractive as we try to further splinter the regime and again, try to find people who, in the words of Marco Rubio, are more willing to make risk assessments and make better judgments and negotiate with the United States.
I brought this up last hour, Rebecca. The Institute for the Study of War said that Iran's security institutions expressed concern about potential protest calls and assessed that worsening economic conditions such as inflation, unemployment, and rising prices could trigger renewed unrest. I ask again to see if there's any information. What do we know about what's going on inside with the people of Iran?
Well, we know very little, but we remember in the beginning of Epic Fury that the Trump administration officials were very careful to essentially talk to the Iranian people to say that this war is not against you and wait. We don't want you to come out yet and protest, but there will be a time in which we will indicate. President Trump also said earlier on in the war that the United States had attempted to get weapons into some people who might be willing to use them against the regime, and we had to halt that because they were intercepted, didn't get to the Iranian people. But my question is, Dana, are we doing that now? Have we used this ceasefire essentially to do some, CIA operations inside Iran to make sure that the Iranian people are armed? Because they are going to be a great asset for the United States. It's going to be up to them to finally push over the regime. But the regime is very fearful, I think, of the Iranian people, and so that's something we got to keep watching.
Rebecca, thank you so much. We'll pay attention to all of that as that hearing gets underway. Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.